Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shift Happens. Today, I decided, because I make a list of things, and I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to talk about grief today. Um, because everybody goes through some sort of grief. I'm kind of a grief expert at this point. Not something I wanted to be, with losing my son first, and then my husband. Um, it's a nightmare, without a doubt. But thankfully, the work that Martin and I did, um, I don't know how people go through what I've been through, not knowing what I know. Because, sorry, as a muggle, people that are muggles, not magical folk, I don't, I don't know how. And maybe a lot of times they don't. They turn to different addictions or whatever to deal with the tremendous pain that grief brings. When I lost my son, I watched him die, and it was traumatic. It wasn't peaceful. Um, yeah, that affected me. And there was times, even knowing what I know, I could feel myself falling into the abyss, the grief abyss. And it literally does feel like you're falling into this dark space. And I know somewhere here I had a painting. I even painted like everything, dark tunnel, and maybe there was a tiny bit of light that maybe I'll get to see. And then I realized that when we stay in grief, I consider that grief, there's these heavy bricks, right? The more we deal with grief. And we have a choice with these bricks of grief. We can build a wall between us and our loved ones on the other side, and really against everybody, because when you have that wall built up. Or you can take those heavy bricks of grief and build a bridge to your loved one. And with my son, I he did not come here to fade away. I'm not going to pretend his life doesn't matter. He is still a force in my life. I will occasionally hear him. He's the one who made me write that comedy set about losing him. It wasn't my idea. He wouldn't get out of my head. So I'm going to take my beliefs over any other, because this is what gives me peace. And I tell people, whatever gives you peace, you go for it. But building that bridge to your loved ones on the other side, there is an amazing new relationship that can happen. And I didn't believe in going to grief groups, because to me, it just helps you sit in your shit. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit there and whine for 30 years. I'm just not. And then a friend of mine in California, she goes, oh, there's this grief group, for parents who lost kids. I said, yeah, I'm not interested. I'm just not. And she goes, no, it's different. And it was. It's a grief group for parents who want the new relationship with their child. Just because they're physically not here doesn't mean they don't matter. Um, some people have heard this. I found a new type of body shaming, lack of body shaming, that just because a person is not physically here doesn't mean that they have to leave your life. And they're willing to show you that they are around you with signs. And my daughter had a friend, and her son had passed from an accident, a hiking accident, had fallen, and Martin gave her a reading, and he came through right away with all this amazing information. She goes, oh, he probably already knew that. And she's like, I didn't know that. How was he going to know that? And she goes, I wish I got signs from my mat like you do your Andrew. I said, you do. Quit explaining them away. Our loved ones on the other side are there to help you. So do you want to keep building a wall between them and the signs that they're giving you? Or do you want to build that bridge? It's a choice. And as I still have my human moments, I get mad at my boys for leaving, because it's not the same. Being in a human body, you want that physical presence of them. And now, but my husband is still my best friend. I still will go to him and ask him, all right, can you help me with this? And other times I'll ask my son for help, and they always let me know that they're there. I mean, the other, I was whining a sign, blah, 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 in my infinite way. And I was really, meh. And then out of the blue, this butterfly flew onto my hand. Then I heard in my head, "Will that shut you up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool. All right." Couldn't get a picture of it. It flew off. But I thought that was really cool. So please pay attention to the signs. If you think it's your loved one on the other side, I promise you it is. Build that bridge. It does help alleviate the pounding. Yes, you're going to still have human moments, because I asked Martin, I said, why do I still struggle with you and Andrew leaving? With what I know. I mean, I feel their energy. And he said, you're in the human experience. You're in a human body for all the joy and all the pain. So allow it, but don't get lost in it. So when I have these moments, I allow them to flow through me, because it's another layer, like an onion, like Shrek. It comes in layers, because if you try to deal with it all at once, you would definitely implode. So I don't like to make these videos long. This is a bit longer. But yeah, think about that. Build a bridge, not a wall. And that makes shift happen. Live your life with no regrets and die loud.